Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a love tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. The sun is starting to set here on our reverse grid for race 3 at Catalunya. On pole position we've got Mark Nicol in the Renault Megane. Next to him is Stephen Heath in the Subaru WRX. Row 2 we've got the two Team Parker Racing Renault Meganes of Sam Parker and Darren Parker. Row 3 is Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane. Next to him is Craig Kellett in the first in the Nissan GTRs of Elliott Racing. Row 4 we've got Mike Kuipers in the Nissan GTR. Next to Harry Cook also in the Nissan GTR. Rob Pellet is on row 5 in the Elliott Racing Nissan GTR next to Kieran Thomas in the first of the K-Tech Racing Subarus, and on the back row of the grid, Tom Foster in the other K-Tech Racing Subaru WRX next to Joe Burrows in the Mazda Atenza. Okay, the last race of the day at Catalunya. Mark Nicol is on pole next to Stephen Heath with the two Parker Renaults behind. A good opportunity for Mark with this one, and away they go, but it's Stephen who gets the best start. As expected, the Subaru has taken the lead. Everyone's got away though. As they come down, well, that looks like, well, that was, oh, Mike's gone off there. So Mike goes off into the gravel. So Mike slows down. So something's happened with Mike. That's pretty bad for Mike there. On board with Joe. And he's in a Subaru sandwich, look, yeah. No, that was Rob, that looks like he went off there. Further up, it's now, oh, Mark, see Mark is, oh, yeah, look, everyone's really struggling to get their speed down. There's so much going on. Oh, contact there. Subarus everywhere. And the Renaults in the background as well. And that's Sam going off. So we're at this point again where the cars are jostling for space on the track, really. And that's Tom. What's going on with Tom? Tom's gone straight off. And he's actually on a different part of the track there.
Lucky he didn't take 9 mils out with him.
Yeah, it's so close to Josh. So leading this race then is Heathy, and actually Heathy's leading by quite a bit of a distance. Comfortable for him at the moment, but no doubt that Renault Darren's going to catch him up. Mark is in third, Josh is fourth, fifth is Kieran, and Craig is now fighting with Kieran, and he's got him on the inside but not quite. A little bit of a tap on the back corner of that Subaru. Now the sun is a lot lower in this race, so it could cause for some difficulties for some of the drivers on certain corners. Can Craig get another big point haul to further lead in the driver's title, to the point where if Craig is more than 64 points ahead by Brands, which is the final, then Craig will take the title even before having to race at Brands. So it's getting to that point, but anything can happen. On board with Joe, sorry, who is just behind Kieran here for 6th and 7th, and Kieran, oh, just a little bit of a push, but trying to get past Craig still. Sam is 8th down behind here. So Tom, Harry and Mike are having a bit of a battle. And oh, Harry nearly loses it. Nearly loses it. So Harry slow round the chicane has allowed Tom and Mike to get ahead now. And in actual fact, the two are side by side as they come down the straight. Tom's filtered in behind Mike to get that slipstream.
Actually, I'm disadvantaged for Harry. He's the only driver who's on hard tyres.
Ah, so Harry on the hards. No, actually, I think it's Harry and Rob. Harry and Rob are both on hards, I believe. But I might be wrong.
It could be Rob, yeah.
Ah, that's Sam. So Sam has had a spin. Something's happened to Sam, whether Sam was hit or he spun out. So, but it looked like Sam was coming to the end of a spin there. So let's have a look at the replay and find out what happened to Sam. Let's watch Sam then as he goes into this long right hander. He's just got his wheels on the outside on the green part of the tarmac, which spun him out. He's done a full 360, he's recovered quite well, but as you can see, everyone else has just got past. On board with Sam as he kind of goes wide here. As I say, look, just on the outside of that runoff there. Here comes Kieran and Mike to go past.
Tom, Mike.
Tom. Yeah, so in actual fact, it was Sam on his own. Sam did something slightly similar to Josh there.
Yeah.
And almost the same place. So it's a battle here for essentially the top 7 are having a good battle. Mark is looking to get past Craig. So Craig's got ahead of Kieran. Oh no, Kieran was it? Sorry, Craig was ahead of Kieran earlier. Kieran was trying to get past Craig. So Craig has got much further in ahead of Mark. Mark is struggling to keep the Renault in a straight line. And a questionable line through that chicane there from Mark. And Kieran now has got on the inside and is getting past Joe. So the two go side by side down the start finish straight as they cross the timing line onto lap 4. And they're still side by side. So, but the Mazda's just got that pull there, just a little bit. And Kieran has to slot behind and stay in 7th. But Kieran really pushing to get past that Mazda. Those Kieran and Joe, sorry, the Mazda and the Subarus have been literally on each other every race at Catalunya here. Further down, racing. Very close. Mike is just behind Sam here, who's having a battle with Tom. So Tom and Sam really close here. Sam's got ahead of Tom. Tom's on the inside of Sam. Tom kicking up the dust as he tries to make the most of all the trackies he can. There's a small battle then between these three, looking pretty good. And Harry is racing with Rob. Rob is in last at the moment on the hards with Harry. But as we said before, Rob and Harry actually fighting between them now for the overall drivers' positions down in 9th and 10th. Rob is still in 10th and could very well come away in 10th still after today. So Kieran still on the back of Joe, and Mark is behind Josh now. So Josh in a podium position.
No, this is Craig.
Sorry, yeah, it is Craig. Yep, Craig behind Josh. Well corrected, thank you for that. I did notice a few mistakes I made at Red Bull, so it's not uncommon. So Craig now up to 4th, and catching Darren. In actual fact, Darren looking good at the moment to get some points ahead of Craig, but from the results that they've had so far, it's not going to be enough to really make a big dent in the title fight. And in actual fact, Craig is now ahead of Josh, so Josh is pushed down to 4th. Josh could come away with no podium here at Catalunya. No doubt Craig's going to get up to Heafy now. Heafy's very quick in the Subaru, so Heafy was quite ahead of Darren. Oh, Josh sideways again. Just needs to be a bit more careful on the throttle as he coming up of corners. So Sam has caught up a little bit with Kieran, potentially to get into 7th. Over the curbs. And Joe runs a little bit wide there in the man start. Tom and Mike still fighting here. Mike rally crossing across the final corner. And this fight for last place is still going. There's always a battle, even if it's right at the back of the grid.
Yep.
The guys never give up, and they're always going to try and get that one extra point, because it does count. And the racers will always race for position no matter where they are. Oh, a push from Rob. That's saying to Harry, don't forget I'm behind you and I'm looking to overtake you.
Yep.
Back on board with Harry. Rob, sorry. So Darren's still leading. Craig is in 2nd. Heafy's 3rd. Josh is 4th. Mark 5th. Joe. Kieran. Oh, who hits the gravel? Oh my God! It was so close to spinning there. That was wild from Kieran. And Sam now trying to take advantage of that loss of speed. So Sam is right on the back end of Kieran's Subaru. And look at the amount of pace that Sam's got in that Renault. And the Renault's known for their outright pace. But Kieran actually has managed to stay ahead there. So maybe it was a better breaking point for Kieran. Further down, Mike is battling with Tom still.
Like I said before, it's just so unusual for Mike.
Yeah, so saying that, Tom isn't really having a great time either down in 9th. He had a 10th on the hards. Did really well on the 2nd race as Mike goes on the inside of Tom, so could get past him now, but yeah, Tom just back down. I mean, obviously he went off earlier and it's just not helped him. He's far away from the pack, too far away from the pack now to really stand a chance of catching up and having a fight. Sam and Kieran still at it in 7th and 8th. And they are literally side by side as they go around that tight hairpin. Sam slots in behind, but not giving up on this. This is a great battle. Oh, Sam's turn. Yeah.
Bit twitchy there.
The amount of people we've seen getting really twitchy on that bend there.
Yeah.
So the top 4. And in actual fact the top 6 spread out quite a bit now, and Sam and Kieran are still literally tired to give up. in this great battle. And you can see the background, Mike is actually having a go on Tom, so a bit of a push there by Sam, and they're side by side again as they go round the S's further down. Mike and Tom having a good go. This is going to hurt Mike's points in the independents, I think. And interestingly, if you look at it, you've got Josh, who has had a nightmare in race 1. He's doing better now, but race 2 wasn't that much better. There's Tom going quite wide there. But Mark didn't necessarily have the greatest of hards race. He was basically at the back. Didn't stand a chance of getting any points, but has done really well in his 2 races on the softs. Craig Kellett is leading this race now, so can you believe it? He's back up at the front, and I think some of the guys are starting to wonder what he has for breakfast with that speed. It's beginning to look like a dominant season for Craig. He could come away with 2 wins here at Catalunya. He had 2 wins at Red Bull, and he's had 2 wins at various other races across the season. On the softs, he is unbeatable. On the hards, he's unbeatable. And he's actually getting more and more quicker on the hards. It's now starting to look, it's Marcus off the track there, but it's starting to look like that literally no one can stop Craig, and it'll be interesting to see what Craig can do in another car in season 3 if he decides not to go in the Nissan. Of course, it's not been confirmed yet whether Craig will be with Rob Elliott Racing for another season, but all of that will start to come more alive towards the end of the season. People will start talking about teams coming away from teams, changing cars, as everyone has become more and more competitive in this season. People will start seeing opportunities for another season. So Sam's now got more comfortably ahead of Kieran on the back end of Mark here, who's trying to fight with Joe. Joe is doing really well in 5th now, going over the curbs. This is Joe's part of the track which he's particularly slow at. He's really struggled to get around that chicane, isn't he? Always goes quite wide on it. As they come down there onto lap 10 now, so just a couple of laps left here at Catalunya. Nearly another whole event finished. This season is very, very quickly disappearing now. Sam is quite close to Joe. Kieran is quite close to Sam. And there is Mike, who's a little bit further behind. Tom is much further down. So Heathy on the back of Joe. Josh, not Joe. I keep mixing up Josh and Joe at the moment because they begin with a J.
Yeah.
So it's confusing me.
It was a good overtake.
It was very good
From Heathy.
Yeah. I was going to say Heathy a lot more settled in Catalunya. It just had a slight off day at Red Bull. Had quite a few offs, unfortunately, but I think everyone has their off day. And there, oh dear, as I say that, contact between Heathy and Josh has allowed everyone else to catch up. So now Josh is still in 3rd. Mark is behind him. Joe's behind Mark. Stephen's now behind Joe. There's Sam there. There's Kieran, and Mike isn't too far behind either. So a battle here between Sam and Heathy is developing, and we've gone from having just a few battles mid-pack to everyone having a battle mid-pack.
beginning of the race.
Yeah, it is like the beginning of the race. So Mark and Mark and Josh. Mark and Josh. No, I'm not. I'm trying to get the names out quick and I can't. I'm not calling Josh anything other than Josh at the moment. And Mark runs wide. So does Joe. And there's a bit of contact between Joe and Josh, allows Stephen to get ahead. No, Josh nearly loses it. So 4 of them here are literally on the same piece of tarmac, fighting out to the point where it could get a bit dangerous, and it's going to end in tears if they're not careful. Let's watch it from behind, from Kieran's point of view. So, because it's literally all happening in front of him. Mike isn't too far, either, so Mike could catch up if everyone else is battling it out. So Sam is pushed wide by Kieran. Joe's just ahead. Josh and Heafy now are all contact there from Kieran. He pushes Joe wide. Joe goes into the gravel. Sam goes past Kieran, and so Sam now has got an opportunity to catch up with Josh. We'll have a little look at the replay in a second of what happened with Heafy and Josh, but whilst all of this is going on, it's too much to watch, and so we'll keep an eye on this and have a look at the replay. Yeah, there's Mike, see, and Joe isn't too far behind. He obviously went off in the gravel, so he's got a little bit further behind, as Mike is putting the pressure on Kieran now. Kieran goes slightly wide in the chicane. Over the curbs. Further up is Kieran in 7th, so Sam is in 6th, who's literally on the back of Josh here, and further ahead Heathy is right on the back of Mark. Bit of a push. Get on with it, says Sam. 4 of them going into the corner. They're all going slightly wide over the sausage curbs.
All of them go wide.
Yeah, literally everyone did. So, as I said, it's literally everyone fighting for the same piece of tarmac. Could end up in tears if they're not careful. Heathy and Josh are at it again. Look, starting to get a bit aggressive. And Mark runs wide, so Mark is on the grass. Mark has taken an opportunity to get ahead of them all, and could lose it all. Oh look, he's off on the gravel again, so Mark is fighting, he's dicing with the devil. Oh, he's gone very wide, so Mark is out of question. No, he's back into the question, and he hits Stephen. So literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars are going down into the hairpin now on the last bend, and you just don't know where to look. What's going to happen? Mark is much further down into 6th now, so Sam is leading this. Josh and Stephen again at it. Josh nearly loses control, and as they come through the final chicane again, there's a bit of action. There's contact between Heathy, Josh, Stephen. Kieran's there, and unbelievably Sam's 3rd, Josh is 4th, Stephen's 5th, Kieran's 6th, 7th for Mark, 8th for Mike, and 9th is Joe. Wow. Wow. Tom takes 10th, Rob takes 11th, ahead of Harry, who looks like he's struggled for the last part of this race. So we actually ended up missing the first and second, which obviously was taken by Craig and Darren. I don't think there was too much of a fight between them, but that was quite unbelievable, really. One of the closest finishes for a pack that size we've ever seen. Here comes Harry. We can have a little look at some of the replays and kind of piece it together and see what really happened. So we'll first have a little look at Josh, done it again, Josh and Heathy, and then we'll have a look at the final few corners. So let's watch Heathy and Josh as they come to this hairpin. We saw the onboard. Yeah. Josh trying to get away, and Heathy couldn't get away, and that's where they allowed everyone else to catch up. Let's have another little look at the onboard with Heathy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like Josh has come in on Heafy's line, doesn't it, Kieran? Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
Yeah, unfortunately Heafy had nowhere to go.
No.
So let's watch it from Josh's view. It just gets spun round, and then the two get caught up. He's trying to get away. It's just not worked out. Let's have a little look at Kieran as it goes through these last few corners. There's Mike. Oh, Mark and Mike kind of push their way through. Then it all starts to kick off even more so through these last few corners. As say, Heathy and Josh nearly loses it. So they get together on through the chicane. And as we know, going through that chicane side by side is never going to work. Josh goes off, cuts the corner a little bit, but it's not much choice. Yeah, interesting. Let's have a little look from Josh. Josh's interior, and Sam gets past there. I mean, Heathy and Josh were just literally side by side. Josh is drifting over the curbs. The contact there. Yes. Josh is like, I'm keeping my fourth position. Yeah. You're not having it. The final race of the day here at Catalunya is over, and the results are here. Craig takes the win ahead of Darren, who's ahead of Sam, so a good double podium for Parker Racing there. Josh takes fourth ahead of Stephen, Kieran's in sixth, Mark was in seventh, Mike is in eighth, Joe in ninth, Tom was in 10th ahead of Rob, and Harry in 11th and 12th. So what this means for the overall standings to go into Goodwood at the end of Catalunya, Craig is 60 points ahead in first with 302 points. Darren is losing the grip of the title race with 238. Mark is third still with 200 points ahead of Josh, who's just jumped ahead of Mike at the end there with 198 by just 2 points. Mike is on 196, not too far behind is Tom in 6th with 191. Kieran has been jumped ahead by Sam again by just 1 point, 153 to Sam, 152 to Kieran. Harry is a little bit further behind with 133 in 9th, and Rob is 9 points behind him in 10th, and Rob is still in 10th. Stephen is 11th with 106, Joe in 12th with 80, and of course Gary, James and Chris don't get any more points at the back of the table. In the teams, Elliott Racing are leading by 51 points with a 506. Parker is second with 455. K-Tech in third with 424. And in any independents, Mark is leading still out of Catalunya with 279. Mike is still 12 points behind now with 267. Josh a little bit further behind with 258. Harry is 4th with 216. Stephen is 5th with 153. Joe is 6th with 115. Gary, James and Chris don't score any points after not attending any of the races. Thank you very much for watching the 6th round of Season 2 of the FeckWrest Touring Car Championship. I have been your commentator. My name is Tom. I've been here with Kieran. Thank you for coming on board again, Kieran. Hopefully we'll get you on board every race more consistently towards the future for the FeckWrest. But for now, thank you very much. Goodbye, and we'll see you round 7 at Goodwood in a week's time.
Yep, see you later.